Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. On behalf of everyone at Insight UK, I'd like to welcome you all to today's webinar. I'm Ashna, your host for the night, and we are here today to delve into the unfortunate events that led to the withdrawal of all of the shows of Kerala Story from the movies across the UK. We also want to share the great news that the movie is finally set to release tomorrow across the UK after fighting numerous obstacles. Just in the last week, the movie has provoked such discussion, largely due to the challenges it faced in obtaining the age certification from the British Board of Film Certification. To discuss this further, we are joined by the cast and crew of Kerala Story. Please join me in welcoming the director Sudipto Sen, the lead actor Adah Sharma, the producer Vipul Shah, distributor Ken Nas, and the impact advisor Priya Samant. Before we start, I'd just like to we'd just like to play the trailer of the movie before it's released tomorrow.
Shalini Unnikrishnan, a Hindu from Kerala.
Tell me, when exactly you joined ISIS?
आईसिस कब ज्वाइन किया ये जानने के लिए क्यों ज्वाइन किया और कैसे ज्वाइन किया ये जानना ज़रूरी है सर।
इस दुनिया को सिर्फ अल्लाह चलाता है, ओनली अल्लाह।
उन्हें करीब लाओ, खानदान से जुदा करो, दुश्मनी रिश्ते बनाओ, जरूरत पड़े तो उन्हें प्रेग्नेंट करो और जल्द से जल्द अगले मिशन के लिए हमें हैंडओवर करो।
तुम लोगों ने बताया नहीं तुम कौन से गॉड को मानते हो? आई थिंक शिवा इज ए बिग गॉड। जो गॉड अपनी वाइफ के मरने पे ऐसे कॉमन मैन की तरह रोता हो, वो गॉड कैसे हो सकता है?
क्या बदतमीजी है ये?
हिजाब पहनी एक भी लड़की के साथ ना ही कभी रेप होता है, ना ही कभी कोई उन्हें छेड़ता है, because Allah always protects us.
Are you trying to say only Allah protects?
क्या आपको अपना शौहर कबूल है?
कबूल है।
फातिमा,
दिस इज अ ग्लोबल एजेंडा। हमारे एक्स चीफ मिनिस्टर ने बोला है कि अगले 20 साल में केरला इस्लामिक स्टेट बन जाएगा।
एक सनसनीखेज घटना ने केरला की रूह तक को हिला दिया है।
Just come back, you're not safe, Shalini. Please come back.
हम 48 गर्ल्स में से 7 क्रिश्चियन हैं, बाकी हिंदू हैं।
मैं अकेली नहीं हूँ इस खेल में। मेरे जैसे हजारों लड़कियां हैं जो अपने घर से भागकर इस रेगिस्तान में दफन हो चुकी है।
Thank you for playing the video, the trailer. I just want to start by saying, so last week, that's when the team Insight UK became aware of the unusual and unexpected delay in receiving the certification for the movie from the British Board of Film Certification. And the film was, of course, meant to release last Friday across the theatres in the UK. So Insight UK, as a team, we ran a social media campaign trying to, raise this concern with the British Film Board Certification Board. demanding what was going on and what was the delay, and basically trying to get them to be more transparent about what was going on behind the scenes. And we've been told that people, several people wrote to the BBFC demanding an investigation into the delay, and because it's just so unusual. So I just wanted to start by asking the distributor, Ken Nas, about what happened after you applied for the ACE certification. What was the specific service that you opted for? Were you aware that there was going to be a time delay, or what did they actually tell you about the time delay? If you can throw some light into the delay and your experience, please.
Sure. Having been, distributed hundreds and hundreds of movies throughout my career, I've never experienced something that I experienced on this. Normally, we submit a movie to get certification in many countries, and in this case, in UK. They watch the movie and then they give you a certification. And in many cases, it's either for general audience, or 14A or, something like that. And it usually comes within 24 hours of them viewing the movie. This is the first time that I can remember where we submitted the movie and, they gave us a date which should have been given a week before, for whatever reason. So we accepted it. It can happen. That's fine, And then we asked them, that the movie is releasing on May the 12th, and we need you to give us a certification. So we submitted all the forms. We asked for express viewing, which means they have to give us the certificate within a certain period of time. Usually they give it as soon as they watch it, 10, 12, maximum 24 hours, and sometimes on the same day. So we, on Wednesday, after they viewed the movie, I can read you exactly what we got back. They said, I can confirm the submission is still being reviewed internally. We will come back to you as soon as we have confirmation of the classification, but the classification is unlikely to be completed by today. Now, the funny thing is that was given to us on Friday afternoon, which should have been given to us on Wednesday or, at the very latest Thursday. Now, what happened or didn't happen, I'm not sure, but it sounds like there was a delay tactic. And tactfully, we're told on Friday afternoon, UK time, that they cannot complete this. At this point, the movie was, booked in almost every major cinema in UK. Our tickets were nearly sold out, if not sold out in many locations. And we were frantically trying to contact them to find out what's going on. And we were not getting any response to them other than, what they wrote, that we can't give it to you today. So it sounds like to me, there was some forces, that were working behind the scenes to try to delay the movie for the weekend. I mean, the worst that they could have done is they could have said that, it's 18 plus, which means anybody under 18 cannot go to see the movie. That rarely happens, by the way. I'm trying to think of a movie that might have happened in, but, having watched the movie and, this movie has been censored practically every place in the world, including, Canada, in Australia, in New Zealand, Ireland, which is a neighboring place from UK. Everybody is, given us a certification. India has obviously given it. So I'm still not sure what delayed it, but thanks to God that, we got the certification and it's releasing everywhere, in some places today and definitely by tomorrow. And the response is overwhelming. But before I end, I just need to thank all of you. We could not have done without you all. Ashnaji and everybody else here. Your support is, I don't have words how I can appreciate everybody. The community was behind us from all around the world, Priyaji, everybody just mobilized and said, no, we're going to do this. And all we can say is thank you, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Benji. It was just the right thing to do, the natural thing to do. So obviously, this delay, and like you said, it didn't happen early on. There wasn't enough notice to have even had any contingency plans. It was sort of like dropping it at the last minute. And when the shows were cancelled across all the theaters, and as you said, it was quite fully booked. And so when the shows were cancelled, the cinemas actually had to return the money and refund the money to all the customers who had booked the show. So I was just wondering, as a producer, Vipulji, like, what is your assessment about the losses? I'm not sure if you've had the chance to assess it, but I would sort of like to find out what is the loss that you have worked out, and how do you see this unusual delay in certification? Is this something that you've come across before in the UK at all?
No, never in UK for sure, and never in any part of the world actually. And Ken is kind and he wants to, be soft about it. But I can say that there are many lobbies working very hard to somehow either stop the film or discredit the film. And it is very shocking for me because I'm not able to understand why some Muslims are trying to back the terrorists. I mean, some Muslim who are very well connected and very powerful in the social structure of UK are trying to stop this film from releasing. This film is actually exposing a terror network that is operating in Kerala. I am not able to understand why on earth would such educated, learned, good Muslims would support such terrorists. And this is something that beats my mind. And I just think of one thing, that loss of that 1 week's business doesn't matter as long as the entire Indian community comes and supports this film in big numbers. That is now somewhere we have to show that we will not be deterred, we will not be suppressed, we will not be, brushed aside. And that is a commitment that our community needs to make, the Indian community. And that includes Muslims, that includes Christians, that includes Sikhs, that include Parsis, Jains, everybody. If we are Indians and if we love India as a country and as our motherland, then this is the opportunity for all of us to show that you can play any tactic, you can try any trick in the book, but we are going to give you a very strong reply. If we are not patriot, then it's fine. You can enjoy the gossip around the film and go ahead and live your life, watch it on a pirated copy, and forget about the film. But what this film is going to do to this entire nation, it's already woken up the nation. There is such a big debate in India about this film. And obviously some people are going to get upset because we are exposing them. So they are going to get upset, and some political parties will feel the pressure because they appeal to the Muslim community and as a vote bank. But I want to tell every Muslim that, look, I have worked with lots of Muslim guys in my life and I have wonderful relationship with them even today. And not every Muslim is a bad Muslim, or not every Hindu is a good guy. There are good Hindus and bad Hindus. There are good Muslims and bad Muslims. So the film doesn't make any comment on a community on the large. But if we all don't come together, don't expose this network, don't put them behind bars, we are not going to protect our daughters. This is going to become bigger. And that is what, for me, is the most important thing. What we lost is absolutely not important. I just want that we need to give a reply which is going to stun them. Are we capable? That's the question.
Thank you so much, Vipulji. I mean, that's a very responsible, socially responsible thing to say. I just want to thank you for looking at it that way. So coming back to Kenji, I just wanted to know how many countries have the movie been released, so far? And also, I know you said that you've never had this issue in the UK before, but have you ever had this issue in any other country, or, any similar experiences?
Sure. No, I have not had any issues. Pretty well, the movie's being released in 37 countries and growing every day. There's a huge demand. We've had backlash, as Vipulji said, pretty well everywhere. There are external forces that are trying to, it happened in Australia, it happened in Canada, it happened everywhere. We got the certification, but it was a sad state of affairs that people would be calling up, cinemas or the cinema chains or their heads and saying this movie is not, it should not be shown. I was a little bit shocked, and I'm still investigating, but in a country like, let's say, Portugal, the movie was stopped in some of the theaters because they informed us that the Hindu community, again, I'm still checking it out, it was kind of shocking for me, is asked that this movie is creating a lot of tension in the community, and we as a Hindu community, would like to continue with the harmony. There's been situations in, in parts of the world, including Canada and USA, where people are going in the cinemas, and particularly Muslim people and all that. That I'll just call them terrorists for this, because, like Vipulji said, we all have friends, and we all have, from all faiths. They're going into theaters and in the middle of the movie shouting out, Allahu Akbar and this and that, trying to do the scare tactics. I'm also told in some cinemas, they're buying the tickets so that people cannot buy, tickets because that particular show is sold out. So there is backlash from the, I'm going to continue to call them terrorists. Anybody who watches this movie, including myself, it's all about saving your daughter. It's all about saving your sister. It doesn't do anything for any, it doesn't say anything bad for any religion. It just says that terrorism is bad. I'm based in the United States, and, we hear about terrorism all the time, and we fight it. So, but quickly answering, it's released in pretty well every country, and people are supporting it. And I'll just say one more thing about Vipulji. Vipulji is one of the most powerful filmmakers, I would say, in the world, especially in Bollywood. He has produced some of the biggest movies. He can get any stars. He can, produce big blockbuster movies, but he chose this movie not because of the, he needed to get this message. And, we all cry when we talk about this movie. So this is one of the most important movies for everybody to watch in this, in the world. And it's important for us to bring it. And I'm very proud to be on and honored to be with this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kindi. I totally understand, and reciprocate the emotion, because I felt the same way just watching the trailer, and I haven't even seen the movie yet. So thank you so much. Moving on to Priya, the Impact Advisor. If I may, just for the audience, I just want to give a little bit of description about what Priya does as an Impact Advisor. So an Impact Advisor, as an Impact Advisor, what Priya does is she works for a specific culture and cause-based cinema, which is a concept that Priya herself created, with a credit title for the same, and is gaining momentum across Indian cinema. And the Kerala story is not the first movie. In fact, it is the 6th movie this concept has, been introduced to, in widely gaining momentum, and also, sort of creating the impact as it hits on the ground. So as an Impact Advisor, I just wanted to ask you, what is it that you see as an impact of the delay from the British, British Board of Film Certification what in your eyes is that has been an impact or happened as a result of the delay?
So from an economic standpoint, of course, there was loss of business days, but from a social standpoint and from the impact of taking the narrative to the larger audience, the pace has been the same, or the trajectory is onwards, because people are now more curious to learn about it. Because the delay of the certification caused a huge confusion, not only within the UK audiences, but all the audiences all around the world. People wanted to understand. I myself wanted to understand. I went and I spoke about it on the media as well, that why is there a delay? See, because this movie that you all will see today and over the weekend and next week is raising awareness about a very pressing issue that the entire world is facing. And when we talk that we are one world, there are a lot of issues, we name it: human rights violation, female rights, terrorism, religious freedom. I mean, there are so many metrics and aspects that this film is bringing to light. So as Vipul ji mentioned and Ken stressed on it, it is not about any religion. Terrorism has no religion. And truth is always controversial. So before passing judgment or unnecessarily getting delayed or damaging public properties or first watch the movie, learn about it. If you all are on the edge of it, talk to your peers, talk to your communities, understand things, because when we say we are one world, we should stand by it and kind of respect each other. And more and more such content is now being developed, not just in Indian cinema, but cinema around the world. So we need to be very open and understanding about the fact that it's high time that such narratives will be made, and we need to learn to accept it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Priya. I just, so obviously, Kerala Story as a movie is based, it's based on a true story. And it really happened in the state of Kerala. What would you say to the audience in the UK as to why they should watch it? I mean, I know that it's a hard-hitting story, but obviously this is thousands and thousands of miles away. Why should the people in UK watch the movie?
So is this the question for me?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay, all right, sorry. It should be watched because it's a global issue. I mean, the problem is in Europe, it's rampant. It's in UK, it's in the United States.
Priya, sorry. I have some family issue, so I will have to take exit from this call, but Sudipto and Adah will continue. I'm very, very sorry, but I have to do this. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vipul. Thank you for
thank you much.
Thank you. We're really grateful you spent our time with you.
Yeah, so it's a global issue, and it's very important that we highlight those issues and bring it in front of the larger audience. We talk about it, we learn about it, because movies are a very powerful tool to bring some of the pressing issues that our society is facing, in today's age, or something that has happened in the past that needs to be highlighted. And we see about it, we talk about, we see in the news every other day that there's damage being caused, there was bombing here, this, that. It's very important that where the world is going right now, and with threats, more, soft threats coming to us, from all angles, especially with the age of the artificial intelligence and other things, and social media, there's so many of such things that are there. We have to keep ourselves, aware of what is happening in the community and at the world at large. And this movie is bringing to light some of the very pressing issues that our world is facing right now. Kerala is just one state that they have picked, and India is just the country. But this is an issue all around the world, and you all know it much better than that. That it's a big issue in Europe.
Sure. Thank you so much, Priya. I mean, on that note, obviously there is a lot of buzz around the movie, and and then there is the dangerous and dark truth that this opens one's eyes to. Do you think this movie is actually going to become a catalyst for social change, or rather a movement against the evil of grooming and conversion, for the purpose of using them for terrorism, potentially something that is against the society?
This movie has already become a catalyst for social change. So in the US, when we did impact events, so we had one senior official from the defense, former senior officer from the defense and the military government of India, and they spoke it from the point of the national security, that how important this is. We had a former IPS from the Kerala police. He spoke about it. Then we have the lawyer who is working with the survivors, and when Sudipto speaks, he will tell more about it. He spoke about it. So this movie has already created a movement and a social change. And I will quickly jump upon a fact that yesterday I got a call from one of the doctor who is in the US, who is a Keralite, and he said, we have screened this movie for 4,000 girls in Kerala, and we want to screen it for another 6,000 girls, and we want the theaters. But we are not getting theaters, and can you please connect us to the distributor? And his words were that Vipulji, Sudipto can everybody are God sent. What can it be when somebody takes you to a pedestal and starts comparing to that level? We all are very minuscule in the larger scheme of things, if you really take it philosophically. But it's high time now that, we understand that this movie has created a social change and is bringing some of the pressing issues. That's not just for, Hindu community, Muslim, to a Hindu community or Christian community, or even Muslim girls, right? Terrorism has no religion. We have to be very much on watch, and we are just trying to bring that narrative to light.
Thank you, Priya ji. I would like to move on to Sudipto ji, if I may. So you've done a fantastic job of, laying out this problem starkly and grimly in this film. I know you've researched the subject thoroughly. How important is it for you, that this movie can educate youngsters to prevent them from being radicalized and, turning into extremists? How important can this movie be?
Well, when I started this project 7-8 years back, and I was basically moved by the pains and agonies of the girls there in Kerala. As I always said that I being a traveler all my life, Kerala was always been my places of attraction. The beautiful backwater, the sea, the martial art, the dance, everything was so attractive. It's like a picture postcard. But when I happens to see the other side, the flip side of Kerala, which is the northern part of Kerala, is so dangerous, so vicious. And it was like, as I write, I think I did justice by saying that it is sitting on a volcano. So my point is that terror network is active everywhere, in every part of the country, world. And Europe is suffering today badly. I need not to explain, including UK. Now, one good thing about terror network in those countries like Europe, like UK, like America, that is an isolated entity. When it comes to the politics of that particular country, the party in power and party in opposition, they are together when they have to address the issue of terror. But unfortunately, in my country, it is not like that. In one hand, we say that terrorism has no religion. But when we start talking about terrorism, a group of people come to name that terrorism and equate it with the Islam. In my film, I never mentioned anything bad about Islam or any fault in Islam. That was not our periphery. It was not the subject we are dealing with. But I mentioned ISIS 11 times in the film, which means the film is attributed to the issue of the sufferings of women through the sinister plan of ISIS, which has been laid in apparently Muslim majority areas in northern Kerala and southern Karnataka part of India. Now, as you guys understood that politics is being played havoc, which has helped us to reach out to make the film. Right now, the subject of this film, the film itself is a center of the argumentative in the country called India. Now, it has become the same way it has become the subject of discussion everywhere in US. That is what we come to know, the kind of responses we are getting. Yesterday, I got a video. It's a collage of almost 20 youngsters given, and none of them have come to India ever. They made their comments, and I think Priyaji, I will share that with the group. And it is such a wonderful feeling that I was almost in tears. These youngsters are talking about. So, coming back to the reply to your question, in my country, the politician made this country so bitter that when we are talking about the sufferings of the girls, in my film, from the first frame to last frame, we explain the sinister design, how it operates, how it works. It's a technically, graphically been described. How it operates, how Shalini Unnikrishnan started her life till it ends in the dungeon of or an incarceration facility in the Iran-Afghan border. I graphically exposed each and every move by this group of terrorists, how the drugs being trailed, these jihadi drugs, the amphetamine or captagon, these drugs which are being used. I mean, it's rampant use in the terror outfits throughout the world, having stresses in Kerala. So I realized that a group of politicians, just for the sake of their politics, will keep on discredit our film. So it is the job of the youngsters, and that is what the happiest experience in last 15 days of the release of the film. The maximum amount of social media comments in our Twitter, in our Instagram, you can go and check that the maximum number of reactions we are getting from the youngsters. We are flooded with videos from all over the world there with their reactions, what they have done, what they made rap, they made theater, they reenacted our characters. It is like a movement has started, erupted in this world in the name of the Kerala story, and only people who are opposing, who are discrediting us, either the seasoned politician who has problem with this, they don't want to disturb their vote bank, or the people who did not see the film yet. But as far as the excitement, the inducing the energy of the younger generation, trust me, if anybody can make a graph, I'm sure the film has touched the heart of 90% youngsters who have seen the film.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sudipto ji. If you can, it would also be very helpful for our audience if you could briefly explain the sort of research that went into the movie, into the making of the movie. How did it all start, and what sort of data did you collect?
It started in 2014. There is a girl called Athira. She was a 19-year-old girl from Trivandrum. Her original house is the extreme north district of Kerala called Kasaragod. So she was the victim of manipulative conversion, and she was so much radicalized that she got married, and after that she was almost about to leave India and for Syria. So in the last moment, she could realize that she got into the trap, and great of her that she kept her nerve and managed to escape from that sinister network. And she finally reconverted to Hinduism. So after that, after her reconversion, and within the whole thing happened in 15 days, after her reconversion, she was been almost like she was chased by the journalists, police, administration. So as a 19-year-old girl, you can imagine what kind of trauma she would be. So she and her parents decided to leave Trivandrum, which is in the southern part of Kerala, the capital of Kerala, to leave Kerala for their native place, that is in Kasaragod, extreme northern district of Kerala. So they took a train in the night and reached there early morning. And by the time they reached their native place, they realized the last night some miscreants has burned their house. That time I was in Trivandrum, and it actually struck something in me that I realized. I thought that I have to understand that what is wrong, what had happened. Eventually, I started meeting many such girls who are the victim of manipulative. I don't call them victim; they are the survivors of manipulative conversion. Got into the trap, radicalized, started hating the country. And I started collecting the testimonies of them. I mean, I have recorded more than 100 hours of their testimonies of those girls. And I used to travel all the places wherever I could find few girls who had been radicalized, and after a point of time come back to the mainstream. They realize their mistakes and all. So I collected them. Then I started getting some kind of connectivity of all this, because in Kerala is the only state in India who has official conversion center, 2 official conversion center. So as a argumentative Indian, I have problem with the concept of conversion. I don't agree that because I don't own my own religion. I'm not a religious person. I'm not a I'm not into all these religious practices. But the matter of fact is the thing which I inherited from my parents, from my family, I don't think I possess that. That is my ancestors given me. So toying with that idea, toying with that ideological understanding of religion and the societal plurality, I don't think that we should tamper with the existential issues like conversion. So I personally have some problem. That is a different argument. But but when I see that these apparent harmless conversion has a huge sinister plan in the back, that it is part of the terror network. Slowly, I started understanding how they operate. The moment the girl agreed to convert, their mobile number is being changed, mobile SIM card is being changed 4 times a day. Nobody has their mobile SIM card. Every 6 hours it is being changed. If they want to travel from one place to another, their car being changed thrice in the road. So I could realize that it's a huge plan being hatched to get this girl into this class of trafficking. Then I found that many girls are into drugs, and in drug they are getting into bigger trap of sexual exploitation and all. So I traced. I have a friend in Saudi Arabia. I wrote her. She sent me all this drug trail, how it started, how it reaches Kerala. And she sent me all the evidences that how the laboratories, the medical shops are part and parcel of this racket. This is how started. Then I reached out to Shalini, the girl. Shalini is her not real name, who is in the Afghan jail. There are 4 other Keralite girls there in the same jail. So through a friend, we managed to get a couple of video call with them. So through them, we gathered many similar videos. That one of them were the few 7-8 parts of ISIS brides. There is a series called ISIS brides. So I found those brutal torture videos from that, how the these girls are being treated. So I tried to connect all the dots, and seeing the dots, I wanted to make a very simple film which can be communicated instead of putting a lot of technical thing, lot of conspiracy and all. I don't want it to, because we Indians are used to watching a boy running behind the girl under the tree. So in these psychological periphery, if I start talking about all these international jargons and detail of this, it may not be nice, because my idea was to reach out to maximum as possible people. So this is how the script emerged. Vipul, the guy who started writing with me, then Vipulji came up. Vipulji started writing. Every time we used to write the new chapter, we used to go back to Kerala. We used to check with the testimonials we collected. So it's a long process of a year we took for writing, completing the script. And this is how the Kerala story was born.
Thank you so much, Sudipto ji. It's becoming more and more clear to me how much of thoughts and how much of hard work has actually gone behind this movie, because I think your ultimate focus, it's so clear that it has been on getting this message across to as many people, and you didn't want the nuances of filmmaking to get in the way of this movie reaching the common people, whether it was in UK or in India. Thank you so much. It's quite amazing hearing this. Thank you so much. And I want to move on to Adah, Adah Sharma. Adah, if I may, I would like to know your experience of meeting the girls. I mean the victims of who the story is ultimately about. What was your experience of meeting them, and what was that interaction like? How did it affect you? How did it inspire you?
Hi. So I met the girls before we started filming also, and during. I also read some material that they had all written. One of them has a book, Shruti. She has a book that she's published. I read that as well. And there were a lot of things in our script when we read it. And, even if I had doubts about could this really happen, it's exactly like that in her book. And then when I met her and when she narrated her incidents to me, I also realized that a lot of times we assume that somebody who's very well educated or I was reading comments of people who say, well, these girls are in nursing college, so they're studying, they're not silly girls. But I'd really like to say that when you're in love, whether you're the boss of a company, whether you're in a very high position, whether you're a scientist, or you could be anyone you could be a NASA scientist also, but falling in love, I think, is something that everybody can do. Trusting somebody is what all of us humans do, irrespective of our educational background, irrespective of our of where we live, irrespective of anything. And when you trust someone and they betray you in love, that is what this is about. So it has nothing to do with how well educated you are. I know a lot of people were like, but if you're educated, how can you, trust someone like that? I don't think so at all. I think you can be really educated and trust someone entirely when you're in love. And that's what these girls told me also when they met me. That's one type of the way people get into the racket. The other one is, there are different ways of how you can, how they target somebody. So they look at someone, looking at what do you think that person's weakness would be? So maybe this person could be trapped with love. This person could be trapped with this kind of manipulation. Sometimes the girls are really strong. Like one of the girls in our film, I'm kind of naive in the film. So I'm trapped by falling in love with this guy who I trust. Another friend of mine, she's somebody who's gullible and she feels that, okay, if she's doing that, I should also do that. So she's that person. We have another friend who's really strong, who doesn't budge from her place, and she says, this is not for me, I'm not going to do it. So she gets trapped as well, and worse than us, she gets drugged and then raped. So it's different ways to trap people. And I think we've gotten huge response from everyone in India, people of all age groups. And when movies release here in India, you usually say, is it a multiplex movie or is it a single screen movie? So a multiplex movie is a movie that's, for people who, they usually say it's just for people who, want intellectual stuff. And single screen movies are movies where people go to whistle at high octane action or really commercial in those terms of movies. But I think with this film, we managed to strike all chords, and we are neither of any of the genres. I don't know what we can even put our film as, if you need to classify it as a genre. But I think we've really emotionally touched a lot of hearts, and I hope with it releasing there finally in the UK that we can enter into a lot of hearts over there as well.
Thank you, Adah. I mean, we know that you're an amazing actress, and we've heard that you're a good singer, but we also heard that you're trained in martial arts. Coming to this movie, there will be a lot of young ladies who would be watching this movie. And I was just wondering if there is anything in particular that you want to tell them, and maybe about the values of family and, or whatever it is that you think this movie is trying to communicate with the young women across the world.
Always listen to your mother. Always. I think it's easy to just say that as a statement. I know, because for me, maybe my relationship with my mother is so open that I can say that. But I can tell you that, just try, because you'll see my character, and she should have just, when you, as you watch the movie, at every single step, you'd be like, why is she doing this? Just tell your mother. But she's scared in some way. Should I tell her? Should I not? So things like that. And for parents, maybe just give your children that thing where they feel like, okay, we can trust our parents, and maybe tell them this. Don't scream at them and freak them out. Maybe if they do something wrong, I don't know how, just manage to strike some sort of chord between the two of them, your kids and your parents, and the parents and the kids, where people feel that they can trust the other person. Because like I said, it's finally trust, my character, she doesn't trust that she can go tell her mother that she's pregnant. She thinks maybe her mother will really, I don't know what she thinks that her mother will do, but she thinks she can't. So any other way to get out of it, she's willing to do, even marry a stranger. Okay, so, and it's ridiculous when you think about it, but at that time in her life, at that point of time, people do make silly decisions. And I would just say, maybe listen to your parents.
So for the parents, it would be more approachable. So you're, even when your kids are grown up, they can still approach you. And for the young ladies and, young men out there, I guess it would be to make sure, no matter what, you should always go to your parents.
Yeah, you should. When in doubt, especially, I think when in doubt, they'd be the best to go to your parents at the end of the day. Yes.
Adah, I actually have a very big and humble request, if I may. I would like you to sing a few lines of any song that you like. Yeah, it would be great if you could.
Okay. Sudipto Sen, really? Okay. We have a song from the movie. I guess I should just sing that. It's in Malayalam. It starts off, there's a Hindi version also, but now since our film, we're Kerala girls. I'm just doing this for you. I don't know why I'm singing, but okay. But
thank you.
No, wait. Yeah. Okay, I'm starting again. Adire Ravil Harmai Vanna Ragameni Chatumo Malyam Ninne shiled katunil puchartu ni malyam Varanamalyam ni Varanamalyam Papa magamari gamare ni sa papa magamari gamapa Papa pa mama gama gamare gamare ni sa papa pa magare magapa ni sa. Okay. So that's a song from our film. Varanamalyam
Thank you
means will you
so
accept me? So like will you accept me in marriage, she means, I guess.
Thank you so much. Actually, strangely, my first language is Malayalam, so
Oh, there you go. So do I pass?
Yeah, thank you so much. I feel so privileged. Adah, finally, I just have one question, and it is from the audience. So, what they are keen to know: how did you prepare for, such an intricate and difficult role, and how did it change how did it affect your personal life? And it's how did your awareness around around this change, doing the movie, finding more about the lives of these girls and how it affected them? How did it change your perception? But first of all, they would like to know, how did you prepare for such a difficult role?
I think I had a really good team. Sudipto sir, Vipul sir, everyone around me was really nice. There are a lot of things I've done in the movie that I think on paper I would read, and I think I don't even know how I would be able to do it. But because if you have a really good team, it just becomes easier. A lot of the physically violent stuff. Also mentally, all the scenes were a little heavy, a lot heavy actually. But I think if you have a good team and well-written material as an actor, that just makes your job easier. Also, I kept telling myself I have to be strong to be able to be vulnerable on screen so that I don't break down anytime in real life during the process of the film. So I think I've been so strong throughout that I don't think I haven't personally broken down. Maybe those things are still in me. But I don't know if I ever want to let that go also, because after you've heard these stories of these girls and seen their lives, I don't know if I don't even feel right to be like, okay, now step away from it, because that's something that I think that sadness will always be in me, right? We've heard these stories of these girls, what they've gone through. And some things felt a little personal because, again, the character I play, she's an only child of, and she's close to her mom. So I really connected to that. Things like, there's this thing where when she goes there, there's a law where you can't use a mobile phone. Okay, and now if you tell me I can't talk to my mother and I have to just be in a strange place with strange people who are physically torturing me, and then I can't talk to my parents, I would like freak out. So my character she's not allowed to use a phone. As soon as she reaches there, she realizes that. And yeah, so things like that, I think I really connected to. How does one prepare? I don't know. I just tried to be as real and honest. I didn't want anything to look like I'm acting it, because I felt in a movie like this, the only thing that will make it really work is if people are watching it and it feels real. The only time it will feel scary enough, the only time it will give you chills is if you actually believe that I am that person. From everything, the appearance to how I talk to, yeah, so I tried my best. My mom is a Malayali as well, so I practiced the accent with her and my granny. Though we do speak a little Malayalam at home, but not every day. So we practiced that for like 4 months before getting into the film. Other than that, yeah, on set, like I said, I just tried to be as honest and as real to it. And as an actor, putting the part aside that I'm a girl who connects with them also, this was a role of a lifetime. And I thought that I was really fortunate to get it for someone who doesn't belong to the industry. So I just got this amazing thing. So I felt very fortunate through it also. So I thought I should give it my all.
Also, how did it change your awareness of this, issue that is going on across the world? But how did it change your perception?
I think I've become more grateful. I would always have liked to think I was a grateful person.
Have I lost you, Adah? Looks like we're just running
Yeah,
into
I think we
some
lost.
technical issue. Oh yeah, she's back.
Oh, I'm here. No, can
Yeah.
you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so sorry, what were we saying?
I was just asking about how
it
have
changed
your
me.
awareness changed, about this
Right.
topic.
I mean, I also realized that a lot of times we think that because we are, for example, I live in Mumbai, and I might hear about another story of some girl who was, say, raped somewhere else in Mumbai. But I should be aware enough to know that just because it didn't happen to me, I shouldn't dismiss that it happened to somebody else. For example, I'd say I feel very safe. I can walk out on the roads at, midnight. But some other girl in another area of Mumbai might not feel that safe. So just because I'm safe, I can't say that everyone in Mumbai is safe. I realized that also. And I found that insensitivity in a lot of people while we were promoting this. A lot of people who said that all this doesn't happen. I feel fine here. So it's not happening because it's not happened to me. So that's another thing I learned. Actually, I learned more during these 10 days as we were promoting it. Also, at the lack of sensitivity that humanity has, it's quite sad actually. But that's something else I learned, and I never want to become that. I think we should all be self-aware enough to know that if something's not happening to us, that doesn't mean it's not happened to someone else. You can't just dismiss it and say this never happened. And during the shoot, just grateful about everything, like our basics, like food, going back home after shoot and sleeping on a bed where I know I won't be abducted in the middle of the night or like physically abused. Just general basic things. I've become very grateful. Things like having an opinion, things like having the freedom of speech and thought, and living in a country that allows me to do that. So just basic things like that.
Well, thank you so much, Adah Sharma. I just want to say, I just hope that the role and your character continues to inspire you and, every woman
Thank you.
across
I'm
the
waiting
world.
for you to watch it and tell us what you
Yeah,
think.
me too. I'm really looking forward to it.
And now, since I know you speak Malayalam, now I'm even more excited. I want proper feedback about that as well from you.
Of course. I just want to move on to Sudipto. So the movie Kerala Story, it highlights a serious issue. Like we said, across the globe, a serious issue of radicalization and extremism. However, propaganda is often the word which is so casually used to discredit movies such as yours. We saw this with other movies as well. A few sections of the media and few groups have called this a propaganda movie. How do you respond to such allegations?
As a filmmaker, I don't believe that a film could be termed as propaganda, because the amount of hard work in terms of technicalities in the film, the camera, the sound, the editing, the lighting, the location. So I don't want to discredit any film, no matter I like that film or dislike the film, no matter I ideologically in favor of that film or not. I don't think that propaganda could be a parameter of a film to be good or bad, number one. Number two, in my film, I used to be very perturbed when people used to say that it's a propaganda film in the beginning phase, since our teaser was out in November. So the backlash started from then. Then it has accentuated when our trailer was released 15 days back. But interestingly, by the time the film is released, the amount of allegations, amount of the effort to discredit has started coming down, because people started watching the film. As people started watching the film, the amount of criticism started coming down, and people started accepting the fact that we made a good film. Now, the question rises that why is this film to be called propaganda? Because people's general perception is that we spoke against Muslims, we spoke against Islam. because you can get an idea seeing our trailer. But after watching the film, you know that we have done a great service to the Islamic religion even, because the way we portrayed we narrated the story, our main journey was to explore how the radical elements, how the terrorists like ISIS misusing the religion Islam. So every Muslim should be aware that it is a film for them. So when people started understanding that, slowly the chaos outside started coming down largely. Now, as I was telling that if you go through our social media pages, you get to see that many Muslim guys and girls are commenting in our Facebook page, our social media pages, that they are grateful that we made this film. So I mean to say is, people calling it propaganda, people calling it agenda-driven film, vilification of the Islam. These are the things which we got used to doing that. And as in the beginning I said that we stand by every word being spoken in the film. We stand by every visual shown in the film. And we have the testimonies in our side. The discussion about propaganda, discussion about terming it as a propaganda has died down. Now only people who have not seen the film yet are still trying to discredit us, but in course of time those things also die down. I'm not very worried anymore, because now it has become an international movement. People are talking about it. People are asking they want to see the film. I heard such stories also that people drove 2 to 2.5 hours to see the film. So in America. So I was constantly telling Kane, giving the information to Kane that, what is the nearest cinema hall where from this particular place. So I mean, when you do something good, you can, one of the determinant of that whether you did a good or bad, that if everybody started talking nice about it, then you should die. You should question your integrity, that whether you make a good thing or not. Now, the praises are so strong, and those are diluting the strong, lesser strong criticism. So we are at par. Now we are composed, we are contented that we have given something to shake the society.
Totally, Sudipto ji. It is so good to hear that, the team, the entire team is taking this so well. Because it's one thing to be so socially responsible to go out there and make a movie like this. And it is a whole another thing as human beings to actually deal with the aftermath of something, doing something like this. Not because it should, but because we know that it is going to happen. So our filmmaker, the producer, Vipul Shah, on Wednesday announced a donation of 5.1 million rupees to the Arsha Vidya Samajam. And as we know that Arsha Vidya Samajam is actually a sanctuary which works towards the betterment and protection of women who were radicalized and were forced to convert. And coming back to being a movie maker and a filmmaker, it is one thing to create a movie, to create awareness about social issues, but it is a whole another level to actually contribute to that cause, about the struggles of who have come back to our society, reconverted some of them, and to contribute to their recovery process. So what would you like to say about that?
You are asking me?
Yes. Unfortunately, we don't have Vipul ji with us anymore.
No, okay, it's fine. See, the thing is, our film has evolved. The whole idea of the film has evolved from the pains and agonies of those girls. Yesterday, I was personally so emotional, because the whole idea of the film started from the eyes, from the tears of those girls. And those tears were the tear of pain, tear of agony, tear of helplessness. But yesterday, when we saw the tears in their eyes, yesterday also you have seen the videos, they all were wiping their eyes. But yesterday, the tears was there in their eyes are of happiness, are of the fulfillment. And they blessed us so profusely that I think all the pain, all the abuses, all the trolling we are going through, all has been taken away from us, that the people, the real victim, the real survivors, the kind of struggle they go through for years, they started dreaming again. They started thinking that our life is still waiting for them. So we made a very, very minuscule contribution to this girl. They need lot of money to build up the house, because the way they were living in a small house, they don't have electricity. I kept on telling their stories, how I met them first time. So we could manage to contribute as a part of the ashram they are trying to make. And I think it was our social responsibility, it's a responsibility towards the girl. It is nothing to do with, because if we would have any agenda to, as a publicity stunt, we would have done it much before. Now, after 13 days past of the release of the film, most of the films released in India has life till a week or 2 weeks. After 2 weeks of the release, we managed to do that. One thing I can assure you, it has nothing to do with our publicity or anything. It is our genuine gesture towards them, because they are now our ambassadors, our cultural ambassadors. So far, they were trying hard to reach out to the people, to say that they are crying, their tears to be wiped off. Nobody listened to them. Today, now they are in the center of the discussions in India. Now they are coming out in the roads of Kerala. They are again hounded by journalists. Every day they are getting 50 to 20 national journalists in Kerala at the doorstep of them. So it's a tectonic change. It is a huge uprise that had happened, this girl. So in the whole thing, we wanted to ensure that they have a proper place to stay. They have a proper livelihood for them. So what Sunshine Pig, our producer, has showed them is a token gesture of our love and affection for them, to tell them that we are with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I just have one more question to you. So the radicalization of youngsters and sexual grooming is one of the biggest current issues that the United Kingdom is facing now. And I remember you said earlier that you're disappointed in how India deals with these issues. But, personally, from living in the UK, I can tell I am just as much, or, really disappointed in how even the Western countries are actually dealing with this. I just don't feel like the Western countries are taking this seriously, which is also one of the reasons why I think it is so important that the UK audience can actually get to see the movie, but actually can reflect on the grooming gang scandal and, ISIS bride, several of them, but Shamiba Begum to mention one of them, but there are several others as well. So when the movie got cancelled last week, a lot of people were really disappointed. And now that the movie is finally hitting the movies and cinemas across the UK, what would be the 3 reasons you can say that we should go to the movies and watch the movie? What 3 reasons as to why we should watch the movie? So Sudipto, I was asking you if that's okay.
Dada, you're muted.
Sorry. Number one, if it is humanity which is dragged us to make this film. Humanity as in what terrorism has done to this world. last couple 22 decades is put us a huge question mark in front of our civilization, that whether we will exist or will not exist will be decided by the people who are in the side of humanity. So this film is our gesture towards the humanity, that how to deal with the terror or inhumans or anti-people. This is, I think, one aspect which has driven us for the film. Two, the beautiful place like Kerala, which has the highest amount of floral and fauna varieties, the largest sea beach, the amazing backwater, India's most literate state, Kerala is the highest index of social indexes of human graphics, like the health, women and child health, the happiness index. Kerala is always high. Kerala is always leading the country. And at the same time, in the shadow of all this success, a huge terror network has groomed up. So it's a right example of how these sinister designs are being hatched exactly where we get overwhelmed with the successes of different kind. In Mallapuram, there are villages in a area called Attikad, where the Sharia law is the law of the land. The villages after villages have implied Sharia laws. So no one is aware about that. There are plenty of people told us that the story you are telling, we did not know it is happening. So we think it is a great service we did for the humankind to tell the story, that how it grooms, what are the social indicators one should see. And third, the last but not the least, is the Indian education system. The education system in a whole should be reworked, should be redesigned. The relationship which is with the family values, the relationship, your cultural identity, your value system needs to be inculcated into the younger generation. Interestingly, the responses of the younger generation for our film is so overwhelming. They themselves is realizing, they're saying it is correct that my parents did not teach us the value of our ancient teachings. I still don't know that when someone in terror network asking in the film why Sri Ram, being a god, cannot save his wife. He needs the help of monkey god. No Hindu child could answer this. I also did not know the answer at my childhood. So I'm not saying that the education system become a religious system, because these are not a religious part of the life. These are our existence. These are our foundation of our civilization. So one needs to understand the foundation of the civilizations. One needs to understand the ground where where the plant has been sowed. So these three, I think, are the principal reason that every parents take their child to the cinema hall. Every children should watch and tell their parents to watch. The gap between the understanding of the relationship of our children and parents needs to be closer enough to, become more argumentative. So this film has it is not because it is my film, but I think this film in general has opened up new vistas of arguments.
Thank you very much, Sudipto ji. And finally, I just want to hear Kenji, as a distributor, what would you like to say to the UK audience? What would you like to say to the people who haven't watched the movie yet and who is planning to?
Okay.
Just a short message.
Yeah, very short. I'll keep it as short as possible. But I do have to say, I watched this movie now 3 times. I have 2 daughters. I have a 29 and a 24-year-old adult daughters, and they are always very happy. They're at home. They're enjoying life. But there are millions of girls, or people around the world, especially in India, that are Now I watched the movie at one time last Saturday with about 400 people, and I'm a big movie lover as I'm a distributor. And no one from the theater moved at all. And after watching the movie, I wanted to hug Sudipto ji, I wanted to hug Vipul ji, and I wanted to hug everybody associated with the film. So, big salute and bow down to Sudipto ji for this subject. Why people in UK should watch this movie? For the obvious, for many, many, many reasons. One of them is that this is the reality of the situation. One thing that this movie does, Sudipto ji and Vipul ji, and they've made it from their heart. When you watch the movie, it really moves you, it touches you, and it brings you to the forefront. And that's why this conversation has come out. Prior to the release of the movie, having distributed lots of movies, this movie was supposed to come and go, and people look for this and that and cast and lots of other things. But this movie has impacted so many people. I mean, I've been speaking to lots of my cousins and all in India, and they've been told by other people that they must watch the movie. So getting back to UK, I think this is just like everybody else, I also read the news, watch the news about UK, and I understand it's a huge problem over there as well. It's important to see this movie, and it's also important to encourage movies like this that bring real life from the real life, playing a little bit on words over here. So it's important to make movies like these. Of course, we love as Vipulji said, dancing around the tree and, songs and all. Of course, we love those movies. But these kind of movies are important because they impact our life, and it really brings us to the forefront of what needs to be discussed and what needs to be changed. So I would really encourage everybody to watch this movie, to support this movie. And I like what Vipulji said. It's not about the money. It's not about the, all that. It's more about to send a message to these terrorist organizations that, look, you can do whatever you want. We're going to support it. And supporting this movie, and and it's important. And by the way, it's so beautiful. Sudipto ji said about Kerala and that part of the world. Unfortunately, I've not been there, but I've heard so many things. I have a lot of friends from there. I cannot wait to go. I've been to different parts of India, and he's captured that part also very beautifully. I'll say that, in the movie, it's so beautiful. But I think it's important for people in UK. We finally got the green light, and everybody should go and watch the movie, get their friends to watch the movie, and I would even encourage people, Britishers, if I could use the word Gora without sounding bad, they should encourage. I took a bunch of my American friends and Canadian friends to watch the movie. And they said, wow, what, they were like literally blown away, for lack of a better word. So I would encourage everybody to watch this movie, and it's a movie you want to see in the cinema. It just, it gives you that impact. It gives you that, you're just engrossed in the movie, like I was, and it's become such a huge hit for the right reasons in India. It's done amazing. Everybody's shocked at the kind of business it did, but yet we're very proud. In United States, theater are selling out in every parts of the world. I just had a message from a good friend of mine who screened 6 shows in Uganda. He wanted to say something on this call. He's watching. He said, "Can I say something also?" And all 6 shows were packed, and they were just, once you watch the movie, you cannot move. And then it was just screened about an hour ago. It finished screening in Finland, as we're going around the world. And the gentleman that showed it simply, wrote to me, goes, wow, so impactful. I'll call you, but it's hard to talk after you watch the movie. I can understand that. Once you watch the movie, Ashna ji, I'm looking forward to you also watching it. And Adah, you sing so beautiful. I could hear it over and over again. It was so beautifully sung. So thank you for that. And
Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, coming to Priya ji, what is your, what's your message for the UK audience and the audience across the world as to why they should watch the movie?
If you all believe that terrorism is a global issue, then please watch the Kerala story. That's all.
Thank you. That was very concise and, on the point. Well, we have come to the end of our webinar, and I just want to start by thanking everybody, who organized it, the team inside UK, the technical team behind the broadcasting of this webinar, and all of the guests who joined us from Adah, Sudipto ji, Priya ji, Ken ji, and even though he couldn't stay for long, Vipul ji as well. I personally feel very privileged, and I'm really looking forward to watching this movie tomorrow. If I can, I would like to watch it tomorrow itself when it releases. And I can see that it's been quite a journey, and I wish all of you the best health and the best success in anything that you ever do, because you definitely deserve it, all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And to the audience, thank you. And to the audience who joined us today, I just want to remind everybody, please do follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You would see the QR code on the side, so please scan it, and that should take you to some of our social media pages. And also please remember to book your tickets if you haven't already done so, to watch the movie Kerala Story. It's releasing across the UK tomorrow. There should already be a list of theatres in UK and Ireland. And also please be kind enough to share your experience of watching the movie on social media. So once again, thank you everybody, and thank you all of you. Thank you all the guests, Priya ji, everybody else who joined us today. And this is Ashna signing off from Inside UK. Thank you.